Welcome, dear students, to the second part of the first part of we saw last time, the 100 dresses 1, the fifth lesson, the first part. So we'll start from where we stopped yesterday. So you saw that the name was typical. No other class student had this name, and so like Thomas, Smith, Allen were the names. There was one boy named Bounce, Willie Bounce, and people thought that was funny, bounce. That word was funny for them, but not funny in the name, in the same way that Petronsky was funny, but not as Petronsky's name. Wanda didn't have any friends. She came to school alone with them. Alone, she always wore a faded blue dress and didn't hang right, or dress in style. See, also is being described by the writer here. And it was clean, but it looked as though it had never been ironed properly. If your clothes are ironed, it looks better than when it is having, what do you call it, the smotched type of, spots of creases and all that. Though that, was not there. She didn't have any friends, but a lot of girls talked to her. She didn't have friends, but the other girls wanted to talk to her. Sometimes they surrounded her in the school yard as she stood watching the little girls play hopscotch on the warm, hard ground. Hopscotch is also a very common game that we in India also play hopscotch. So that they played. So they used to see this girl also watching the little girls play hopscotch. That was the general scenario that was being followed in the school when the girls were sleeping, playing. Sorry, then Wanda didn't participate, or she didn't have her say in that. So that way the situation went. Moving further, the next page. 100, Wanda would say. 100, exclaim all the little girls incredulously, and the little ones would stop playing hopscotch and listen. What 100? What she's speaking? All of a sudden 100? Yeah, 100 all lined up, said Wanda. What is lined up? She will not elaborate. Then her lips drew together in silence. What are they like? All silk? The dress she's talking about. All silk, I bet, said Peggy. Yeah, silk is costly, and she's making fun of her. Yeah, all silk, all colors. Velvet too. Yeah, velvet too. 100 dresses, Wanda would repeat stoically. Stoically is given not showing any feeling, just speaking for the sake of speaking without any emotions or showing any feelings in that. Now, repeat. Then they'd let her go, and then before she had gone very far, they couldn't help but bursting into shrieks and peals of laughter, making fun of her. She's saying that we'll have a lot of, dress, I have 100 dresses and all that. And she, from her appearance, she looks that, she is a poor girl who has not got proper uniform at least, or, the way she dresses is not proper. Then what about this 100 dresses she's talking about? 100 dresses, obviously. The only dress Wanda had was the blue one she wore every day. If she had 100 dresses, she must be wearing more. But no, so why did she say she had 100? What a story. बातें बना रही हैं, 100 dresses. How many shoes did you say you had? 60 pairs all lined up in my closet. 60 pairs of shoes. Cries exaggerated. Politeness greeted this all alike. Oh no, every pair is different, all colors, all lined up. Peggy, who had thought up this game, and Maddie, her inseparable friend, you can just separate the friendship is so close, then what will happen? We will always stay together. But always the last to leave. finally, Wanda would move up and the streets, her eyes dull and her mouth closed, hitching her left shoulder every now and then in the funny way she had, finishing the walk to school alone. You know? As earlier said, what type of a girl Manda was, she didn't mix with other girls. Other girls wanted to talk to her, but she always stayed alone, going home or coming to school. It made no difference. Peggy was not really cruel. She protected small children from bullies. She was not cruel. Small children who were bullied. Bullied means, senior children sometimes, try to make their juniors, feel afraid of them. That is called bullying, and making them धमकी जिसे बोलते हैं. So that, and she cried her hours and saw an animal mistreated. So that way, here we can see Peggy, though she is very beautiful, pretty, and always trying to make fun of Wanda, she is having the softness of a heart that is being portrayed away. Don't you think that is cruel way to treat Wanda? She would have been very surprised, cruel. We are making fun of her, but that's not good. We are actually doing a bad thing, hurting her. Anybody could tell that that was a lie. Why did she want to lie? And she wasn't just an ordinary person, else why did she have a name like that? Anyway, they never made her cry. A little bit fun of them she made, but Peggy had that softness of heart, and therefore she never said anything that was hurting her very badly. And now, how many this and that she had was bothering her. Now she bothered. What Wanda said was they had 100. She had 100 dresses to them, and that's why Peggy and Matty are pondering how she can have that many dresses. Why she was speaking that? She usually wore something, somebody's hand-me-down clothes. Hand-me-down clothes means what? Those clothes, those poor children who are there, whose parents are not well off. What the good parents of the other children of the senior students, or they give the dresses to the worn out or the used dresses to the poor or students who are not well off to them, and those students who get that type is called hand-me-down clothes. So you'll ask that, will you give my daughter this clothes uniform, because I don't have money for buying her a new. Thank goodness she didn't live up on Boggins Heights or have a funny name. So she didn't live up at Boggins Heights. Boggins Heights is the place, or have a funny name. So she is feeling lucky. Maddie is proud, and she says that nice that I am not staying at Boggins Heights, and this locality is not good, and therefore this funny name also I don't have. Otherwise, all other students would have made fun of me. That type of thinking is going in the mind of Maddie. Sometimes when Peggy was asking Wanda those questions in that mocking, polite voice, Maddie felt embarrassed and studied the marbles in the palm in her hand, rolling them around and saying nothing herself. That way, the interaction with each other, or how they have it. Not that she felt sorry for Wanda exactly. She would never have paid any attention to Wanda if Peggy hadn't invented the dresses game. So, internally the girls must be having this game being played of, how many dresses you have, I have this. They talk and discuss, young girls, so that they must be doing that. But suppose Peggy and all the others started in on her next. She wasn't as poor as Wanda, maybe, perhaps, but she was poor. Of course, she would not have a more sense to say she had 100 dresses. Still, she would not like them to begin on her. She wished Peggy would stop teasing Wanda Petronsky. So here the girls are discussing, okay, what should be done of Petronsky. We are doing is right, or we should not make fun of her. Whatever she is, wherever she stays, we should be irrespective of that. Being a classmate of ours, we should also respect. That way, the talks between the girls is going on, the classmates. Moving further, today, even though they had been late to school, Maddie was glad she had not had to make fun of Wanda. She worked her arithmetic problems absent-mindedly. Absent-mindedly. Sometimes you do in a class, you're absent-minded. Teacher makes out that you're not paying attention in the class. So that's absent-mindedness. Your mind is somewhere else, not in the class, and that is called absent-minded. 8 times 8. Let's see. She wished she had a nerve to write Peggy a note. You write note or chit and send it when class is going on to your friends. You are not caught talking. You can just exchange your messages, and that type of mischief is also played. So you're the same thing. Peggy a note, because she knew she never would have the courage to speak right out of Peggy, to say, "Hey, Peg, let's stop asking Wanda how many dresses she has." We are making fun of her like that, but let's not do that. When she finishes her arithmetic, she did start a note of Peggy. Suddenly, she paused and shuddered. She pictured herself in the schoolyard, a few target for Peggy and the girls. Peggy might ask her where she got the dresses and she had on. The Maddie would have to say it was one of Peggy's old ones that Maddie's mother had tried to disguise. The new trimmings. So no one in the room 13 would recognize it. It was Maddie's dress that was given to the mother of this, and therefore, at that time the frills and all that was done, that made a difference, and nobody would come to know that it is an old dress. That type of the thing happens in the discussion. If only Peggy would decide of her own accord to stop having fun with Wanda. Oh, well, Maddie ran her hand through her short blonde hair as though to push the uncomfortable thoughts away. Uncomfortable thoughts is talking about Wanda's poverty and Wanda's different than them. That difference is always being discussed here, and all that. It is a feeling of not good thing about a classmate. They discuss that way also. What difference did it make? Slowly, Maddie tore into bits the note she had started. She was Peggy's best friend, and Peggy was the best liked girl in the whole room. The room number. Peggy would not possibly do anything that was really wrong, she thought. So Peggy, being a good girl, she would never do anything that is wrong, that Maddie had in her mind. As for Wanda, she was just some girl who lived up on Boggin Heights and stood along in the schoolyard. So normal classmate she was of theirs. She scarcely ever said anything to anybody. That we've seen earlier, she was that type. They only went time she talked was in the schoolyard about her 100 dresses. Maddie remembered her telling about her dresses, pale blue with colored trimmings and all this. We were discussing the dress of hers and remembered about what the brilliant jungle green with the red sash, the design sash. You had looked like a Christmas tree in that. Beautiful, that means Christmas tree. The girls had said in pretended admiration. Pretended admiration. Admiration that is not real. Pretend. You pretend means dongi. And also sash means over here a band that is above the waist. Above the waist, the band or the belts you wear. That is called a sash. Thinking about Wanda and her 100 dresses all lined up in its closet, Matty began to wonder who was going to win the drawing and the coloring contest for girls. Hmm? The competition for drawing, as you know, in schools, it happens. But that was being conducted, and for that, the dresses which are best will be, you know, given prizes drawn. For girls, this contest considered to be designing dresses, and for boys, for designing motorboats. So girls and boys had different, you know, competition topics. The girls had of drawing the dresses, and the boys had of drawing the motorboats. Probably Peggy would win the girls' medal. Peggy drew better than anyone else in the room. Always, you know who are the good drawing, who draw properly, or who are good artists in the class. Then that is why Peggy was, well known for that, her art, and no one drew better than her. She would copy a picture in a magazine or some film star's head, so that you could almost tell who it was. Such a nice artist. You can draw the features or face of a particular model, or you can say of a hero or heroine, and you can just make it out, who she is. That perfect. Oh, Mary was sure Peggy would win. Well, tomorrow the teacher was going to announce the winners. They had known. The next day it was drizzling. Mary. So now that competition related topic is delayed for now, and again the routine, the competition related matter will be later on. The next day it was drizzling. Maddie and Peggy hurried to school under the Peggy's umbrella. Peggy and they are having both a common umbrella, and therefore they didn't wait for Wanda Petronsky on the corner of the Oliver Street. The street that far away under the railroad tracks up to a hill, yet to Bogan Heights. Anyway, they weren't taking chances on being late today, because today was important. Why? Today was an important day, and therefore we will not wait for her, we'll go straight home. Do you think Miss Basson will announce the winners today? So that next day's routine, and always when a competition is done, so children await the result to be declared by the teacher. And here, that is why Miss Mason, who is an art teacher, she might discuss about the drawings, and maybe what position the girl or the boy, the winner, are, and that way the announcement of the results might be there. Oh, I hope so. The minute we get in, said Maddie. Oh, of course, you will win, Peg. So it's obvious, Peg, you will win, because your drawing is incomparable to any other student in the class, in the room, and therefore, hope so, said Peggy eagerly. Here, Peggy is not showing that pride in her of a good artist, and she says that it hopes so. Hope so means let's wish. The minute they entered the classroom, they stopped short and gasped. There were drawings all over the room, on every ledge and window sill, dazzling colors. Always colorful, and all the dresses were put out. Colors and brilliant, lavish designs, all drawn on the great sheets of wrapping paper. There must have been 100 of them. All lined up. These must be the drawings for the contest. They were. Everybody stopped and whistled or murmured and admirably. Displays there, and for all saw how different dresses were, on display for this, competition. As soon as the class had assembled, Miss Mason announced the winners. Jack Beggy has won. Beggles had won the boys. The boys winner was declared Jack Beggles, and she said, and his design for an outboard motor was an exhibition in room 12, along with the sketches by all the other boys. So boys section, the sketches and the motorboats drawn and all that in an artistic way was in the other room. And say the girls will be now waiting for that declaration of winner. No? As for the girls, he said, now the teacher declares the girls' result. She said, although just one of the two sketches were submitted by the most one girl, the room 13 should be proud of her. This one girl actually drew 100 designs. Wanda earlier she said that she had 100 dresses. These 100 dresses were actually what? They were all the sketches she had got readied and want to compete with the artwork of Peggy. That is being portrayed over here. All different and all beautiful. In the opinion of the judges, any one of the drawing is worthy of winning the prize. I am very happy to say that Wanda Petronsky is a winner of the girls' medal. So irrespective of what the result is, it's really an astonishing result, because Peggy was the forerunner for the winner of this girls section of art and drawing competition, and therefore when the name of Wanda Petronsky is declared by the art teacher Masson, then it was a great shock for the two girls, Maddie and Peggy. Unfortunately, Wanda was been absent for school for some days and is not here to receive the applause that is due to her. All clap, because the winner is always applauded, because from all the students the first number is that is always being appreciated, and that was done. But they remembered that why Wanda Petronsky was remaining absent for so many days, and that was the thing that was the assumption they are making, that maybe that those days she was making this colorful dresses. Now class, you file around in the room quietly and look at for exquisite drawings. Look at these exquisite drawings she has drawn. Look very minutely, in a good way, because she is the winner, and Wanda, though she is not there to get the appreciation for this great work, but you just see around and look at a drawing. The children burst into applause, and even the boys were glad to have a chance to stamp on the floor. Stamp on the floor means a sign of appreciation, or boys want to make fun, so that way the winner is appreciated that way, by stamping on the floor. But the fingers in the mouth and whistle through, though they were not interested in dresses. Boys always make mischief that way. That way, creating mischief. They didn't understand the art of this girl, Wanda, but they want to make noise and the fuss they want to make. Look, Peg, whispered Maddie. There's that blue one she told us about. Isn't it beautiful? The blue one is there. Isn't it beautiful? I was talking about that. Yes, said Peggy. And there's that green one, boy. And I thought I could draw. So here Peggy herself is, astonished. Peggy is the best artist in the room number 13. And then also she says that, I cannot copy this particular green one that she has, colored and drawn. So wonderfully made. So she couldn't stop this, appreciation. So with this, the first part we complete. The second part, we will start in the next class. Till then, you complete the question answers of the text, and the learning of this be ready with, because the test conduction will be there of any time for the more number of this lessons. So I wish you keep yourself ready with a maximum number of lessons for your class, and therefore for the class test, and therefore herewith I give you best of luck for that learning, happy learning, and see you in the next class.